let's look at the arrays in Julia. Arrays in Julia are like the list in Python. They are very similar. They are mutable and order. Mutable means you can change it, and order means each element has a specific index and you can call it by the order it has in the array. So here I created a code where we got the assignation of the variable myWeek, and we see we put square bracket. So to create an array, it's with square bracket, like in Python. And then I put string inside. String inside, all those different days, and then I close the bracket. I run that, shift enter, and we can see all the days. It tells me you got a 7-element array because I've got the 7 days inside. But it also tells me this is an array made of strings, and we got 1 dimension. If it was a 2 here, like I explained below, then you would have a matrix. You'll have 2 dimensions. So here we got just 1. Fibonacci, which is a very famous list of number where you got each time the third number is the sum of the 2 before it. So you got 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 1, 3, 3 plus 2, 5, etc. I run that and I got a different type of array here because it says, hey, you got an array, but this time it's made of int and you got 1 dimension. Cool. So that's how you can create arrays and just add data into it. Now, how to have a mixed array? So you just put like that. So I put some of the number of Fibonacci and some strings. And here we see it says any. Any, as we've seen with the dictionary, means that, okay, it's a mixed. It could be an int, it could be a string, and I'll be fine with that. You'll be able to add whatever you want to it. And it's 1 because I got just 1 dimension, just a list. Now, what happens if I look at myWeek 0, the index 0? You got an idea what should happen. If you remember, in Julia, that's an error. There is no 0. The indexing starts at 1. So it would be myWeek 1. And when I do myWeek 1, it shows me Monday because it's the first one I had in that list. So that's what we mean by order. We can actually call the element by their order index in the list, in the array. So we can use indexing and we can just call whatever number we want. But what happens if we want to change something? So we can use the indexing to change the value of the variable. So look at that. We had for 5, we had Friday, right? It's the 5th day in the list that we had. And I changed it for the French name of Friday, which is vendredi. I run that and it says, cool, you put vendredi. Now let's look at the list and we can see that here, vendredi is instead of Friday, right? So you can change the value of something just by using the index. Now, how can you add something to a list, to an array at the end, or to remove something at the end? So there are many functions for that kind of thing. I'll show you a few. So to add something at the end of the array, you'll use push. So the way it is in Julia is push, exclamation mark, and then which variable you want to push something into, and then what is the value you want to add. So here I'm saying, hey, push in Fibonacci 21. And now I got 21 at the end of my array. Now, if I want to remove something at the end, in this case, it's going to be the 21 that I just added, it's pop. And I don't need to specify anything else because I'm telling just, hey, pop Fibonacci, which means remove the last one from Fibonacci. I do that, and it says 21, telling me, giving me the value that was removed. And if I look at Fibonacci, 21 is not there anymore. Let's continue. Now, what happened with the dimension? So we saw that we had only 1 dimension in the list before. Here I'm adding dimension, even if it's not visible with this number. It's actually a 2-element array of, it has 2 dimensions, but it's saying to me, like, look, you got 1 array, and within this array you got another array of strings and of 1 dimension, which is actually true here because I created square brackets, so that's the first list, we see it's green, and then those are the 2 sub arrays that are in my array, and I kind of took 3 days, and I just for 1 day, and then I added the translation in Spanish and in French. So we got Monday, lunes, lundi, Friday, viernes, vendredi. And actually, those are 2 arrays of strings of one dimension. So that's what I'm being told here. Hey, you created an array of strings of one dimension. It has one dimension because it's one list, and those are also of just one array. So if we look at this, we can do the same with numbers, and it's telling me similarly, hey, you got all those array of arrays that are all numbers, and well, that's the one you just created. Now let's look at the random number. Rand, with parentheses, create a random number for you. It's going to create a float. So if you just put it like that, it will give you one random number. And you can keep running it, and each time it will give you a different number. Now, if we look at rand2, it's not giving you a random number with starting with 2. It's giving 2 random numbers. So here what it's doing is that it's giving you back an array. And that's why we're looking at that now. It's giving you back an array, and you say, hey, I'm giving you an array of floats, and it has one dimension. And here you got those 2 arrays. And if I run it again and again, the number are random, so they'll keep changing. Now, if I say, hey, do a random 2, 3, here what I'm saying is I want something with 2 dimensions, and I'm giving the shape of the matrix I want to have. I'm telling you, hey, I want 2 lines, and I want 3 columns of numbers, random numbers. And that's exactly what is created, a 2 by 3 matrix of float. And here's this time we got a 2 because it's actually matrix, and we see those numbers. And again, if I run it again, they're all random, it's changing all the time. And the more number I add, the more dimension I'm adding, because here if I want, I can add one more dimension and say, hey, I want 2 by 3 by 2, and that's what I'm creating here. So here we can see the 2 by 3, 2 by 3 by 2. That's why we got another one here. So that was the first one, that's the second one, and we got 3 dimension here. And they're all, again, random number. I can run it again and it will change. So that's a very quick way to create an array with random number. Now, what happens when you want to copy arrays? When you want to copy arrays, it's exactly like in Python. So if I use Fibonacci that I had from just before, so here I got copy of Fibo equal Fibonacci. So I'm assigning in copy of Fibo what I had in Fibonacci. At least that's what I believe I'm doing. So when I do that, I say, okay, you got an array. So what happened when we assign a new value to one of those index, right? So I'll take the first one and I'll say now it's 0 instead of 1. Here we got 1, that's the first one, and I'll say it's going to be 0. So if I look copy of Fibo, it will change it, right? It's obvious now. But what happened if with Fibonacci it should still be with 1? But no, it has been changed because actually I did not create a copy of my array. I just created a new name for the same array. So here I change something I didn't want to change, and the copy I did is not really useful. Now, how can I change that? So first I'll need to fix my Fibonacci. So here we got Fibonacci 1, I'll put equal 1 and look at it. And now I got the list, the array like it should be. Now, copy of Fibo will be different. Instead of just assigning Fibonacci, I will assign copy and between parentheses Fibonacci. When I do that, I'm actually creating a full copy of my array, and then I'm putting that in my new variable copy of Fibo. So I do this, it tells me again, hey, yeah, that's what you put inside. But now when I take copy of Fibo 1 and I say it's equal to 0, it's actually changing just this one. And I can show you that here. Fibonacci is with the 1 like before, and I can show you a copy of Fibo so that we've seen everything. And this one got the 0 change. It's an actual copy, and when I change something in this copy, it's not affecting the original array. Now, something else we want to see before leaving the arrays is the slicing. So the slicing in Python we've seen. Now, the slicing in Julia is similar but different. So here is one similarity. When we do bracket 2 to 4, we're saying, okay, give me all the value or the index 2, 3, and 4, nothing before, nothing after, and it works. it say, hey, that's the array you got here. There's 3 elements, and that's the one we had at the value 2, 3, and 4. We don't have Monday because it was 1 extra. Now, if I want to do this, then this doesn't work. Right? If I want to reverse my array in Python, if I want to reverse a list, I could do this. Well, not in Julia. In Julia, this doesn't work. But if you want to reverse your array, you can use the reverse function like this. And you just write reverse and which array you want to reverse. And when you do that, it'll reverse everything for you. So that's it. You know the arrays now.